everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I make content about reselling on both Poshmark and eBay. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can go ahead and do that. My Instagram handle is simply_RS. I'll link it down below. So today I have an informative video for you. The backstory behind this is I don't know that many brands, and I don't know that as many brands as it seems like every other reseller knows. So I dove into this project a while ago to see if I could find out which brands were worth money without actually knowing the brand. So I'm going to share with you my knowledge in the 5 key things that I found. And these are really good indicators. Obviously they don't work 100% of the time, but they're really good indicators and I use them literally almost every time I thrift. So I'm going to go over 5 points and I have lots of examples and lots of pictures for you. Number 1, fabric content. So I have a picture of a fabric content tag, just in case no one, you don't know what it is. It's this tag, it's on the inside of the garment. And see how this one is 100% silk? That's what you're looking for. So I was going through and I was like, oh yeah, this feels pretty good. And so I look at the tag and it's 100% silk. So I'm like, yeah, this should sell for quite a bit. So the fabrics that are good are silk, wool, cotton, cashmere, and linen. Those are the pretty good ones, and they're if you see that, you know that they're pretty good. The ones that you want to stay away from are polyester, acrylic, and viscose. This isn't always 100% of the time. There are some designers that use polyester and viscose and all that, so you really just don't always use this as an indicator. But if you're running your hands through, you can tell, be sure that you know what each one feels like, first of all. So find something that is wool and see how it feels and memorize that feel. And find something that is cashmere and you can memorize that feel too. So then all you have to do when you're in the thrift store is just literally feel the things, and then if you don't know the tag and don't recognize the brand, and you see that it's 100% wool, that's a good determination that you will be able to get some money out of that thing. Not always, but it's a really good way to tell. Number 2, the hardware. So the first one is the buttonholes. I have an example here. And they should have tight stitching, and they should have a slit for the button. So see how that's stitched all the way around there, and the button is nice and secure, and this is not loose or anything, and it fits really nice, and you can just tell that it's a high quality buttonhole, I guess you would say. Also, the inside of the garment, if it's a good quality piece, will have extras. So this has an extra button, and the button has way more thread on it than you would typically need to use for a button. So that's telling me that they are expecting this piece to lose buttons along the way, but that it's worth it to repair it, and they've added a piece to repair it with. And then the stitching or the thread is in case there's a hole or something like that, because they're really just expecting someone to keep this piece for many, many years. So that's one way. And the second way is zippers. Now, higher quality stuff has metal zippers. So this has a metal zipper, and they also have a flap over the zipper called a placket. This one doesn't, but you still, the zipper is not exposed. If it's an exposed zipper, you know that it's probably a lower quality thing. The placket is a really good indicator, and also the metal zipper and the hardware. And a lot of times the designer brands have the name of the designer on the button. And what I've seen people do actually is resellers cut the buttons off of a very, very stained Tory Burch blouse or something, and they sell just the buttons. Because people still want those buttons. They still have the name of the designer on them. So if you see a really good designer thing and the buttons seem just a bit off, then it's pretty much a good bet that it's fake. Number 3, the lining. So the lining, well-made blazers and jackets will have a lining. And this one has a lining. And if you're not sure, the way you can tell is just kind of take it and pinch it and see if the inside separates. Like you can tell this has two different layers to it. So that's a good way to tell. And also you can tell by like the side of the lining. It will have a taped edge holding the lining to the jacket. The thicker the lining, normally the better. So this one is, it's pretty thick. The really high-end like suits and things, they'll be really thick and it'll be really good lining. Number 4, good workmanship. So this one you can tell by how many stitches there are per inch. So it's not a good example. Like, it's kind of hard to see in this one, but you can tell there's just a lot of stitches per inch, and usually the more stitches the better. And if you pull it apart and there's gaps in the stitching, you know that it's pretty cheaply made. I didn't have a piece that I could do that with. I couldn't find a piece. But if you pull it apart and there's gaps and there's not that many stitches, usually manufacturers that manufacture cheap clothing, and a lot of cheap clothing, kind of skimp on like the details and things. So that's a really good indicator. And number 5, where was it made? So this isn't always the case either. This is probably less of the case than most of these, but if it's made in Western Europe, it's a pretty good indicator that it's a good item to pick up. So Germany and Italy and things like that, those are good. And the mass producer economies like China and Vietnam and I think Brazil or one in South America are not necessarily high quality items. So you can also tell that by the fabric content tag as well. Normally, sometimes it's on just like the regular tag. See, like this one is right there and it's made in the United States. So I know that this is a pretty good quality piece. And I knew, just for this piece personally, I knew it was a good brand. I've never heard of the brand. It's an Anthropologie brand, so now I know. But it has all the qualifications. It has a metal zipper. It has the lining. It's made in the United States. And yes, so this is a good one. So now I'm just going to share a few tips on like other things that really weren't included in this list. So my first tip is that men's items are usually better quality. This is because men prefer their clothes to be worn longer. They have a longer the clothes have a longer lifespan than women's. Women like to go through their clothes in fast fashion, get in and get out, and keep changing through the seasons. But when a guy buys something, the company knows that they want it to last for 3 or 4 years. So it will be higher quality. So what you can do is go to the men's section and you shop in your size and see if you can find, like, if you're looking for a t-shirt, you can look in the men's t-shirts a size down and see if you can find anything. And the jeans are usually a lot better quality as well. My second tip is to go to a designer store and just, look at everything they have and feel the items and see what like a good quality piece of clothing it feels like. And that way this will get you familiar with like the different materials and the different feel and how thick the material is that it's being made from and things like that. So this is a really good tip. I try to do this as much as I can because I don't live by like a mall or anything. So when I am by one, I try to go in and just kind of look around, and this is a good way to like familiarize yourself with the incoming fashions as well. So that is all I have for you. I hope that these 5 tips can help you. They've certainly helped me and I use them all the time. This is a way for me to not necessarily have to be up and familiar with all of like the new brands. So this is just something that I use all the time, and I hope you can just, take it and tuck it in your toolbox. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.